We're talking about gear again. This time we're talking about grinders. And in this particular talk or situation, we're talking about grinders that I recommend, grinders that I don't recommend. And I'll tell you the reasons why, an alternative to whatever I say I don't recommend. In this case, we're talking about the Baratza Virtuoso. I had this grinder for many years. Really good grinder. No real complaints about it except for a couple. And it worked flawlessly. It was easy to change parts. That's one thing about Baratza that's really cool, is that you can buy individual parts of it. They have videos online on YouTube, whatever, to show you how to change all that stuff. People have even modified these particular gadgets. But other than that, it kind of starts to fall a little flat. What I mean by that, no pun intended, because it's a conical burr, not a flat burr. And that's really not so much the issue. It could be the issue because a lot of people, there is a difference in quality, in clarity, and what you get out of a cup of coffee. But let's continue on this path of the good things about it. Like I said, it's easy to change parts. It's easy to play around with different dials as you're trying to dial in your coffee. But like most grinders, this is not only relevant to the Baratza Virtuoso, is that most of the grind settings are crap. I would say I think it went up all the way to 40 clicks. I say between 26 all the way down to like 12 or 10. Those are the sweet spots. That's where you want to be, even for French press, believe it or not. And the other reason why I don't recommend this grinder is because it's expensive for what it is. It's $250. Yeah, probably sure you can get it on sale from time to time on Prime Day and on Black Friday and all that good stuff, right? But the thing about it is that it's $250 for what it can do for you. Like I said, if you are in this journey to just simply grind your coffee, it works great. It's a lot flashier, prettier than what I would recommend. The build quality of it is really good. It's really good. That's the main reason why I got it. I was like, I brew coffee every day. I want something that looks nice, that's presentable, and that just works. And the Baratza Virtuoso does that. Like I said, the parts are really easy to change. It's easy to dial in your coffee. It has a couple seconds. It has seconds to where you can actually brew your coffee, or not brew your coffee, grind your coffee, and all that stuff. But let's really talk about the real reasons why I don't recommend the Baratza Virtuoso. After a while, when you're making your cups of coffee, no matter what you do, you change the grind size here and there. For that particular coffee, there's no degree of separation. There's no element of understanding what clarity truly really is. And the reason why I'm saying that is because after a while, you start to go down this rabbit hole of like, is this the best that this coffee will taste? For the very longest, I thought that it was either me, of course, the water chemistry. I thought it was something I wasn't doing right. There's other factors that I don't really want to get into right now. I just want to mainly talk about the grinder itself. But after a while, all the coffee started to taste really the same. It had this nice concentrated type of burst of flavor in your mouth, and then it will dissipate. If that makes any sense. So the flavor was there. You can get everything all at once. and then it just dies down from there, which is not a bad way to drink your cup of coffee or to experience coffee for that matter. But the thing about it is that it was very muddy. It was hard to decipher exactly what you were really tasting. And again, no matter what I tasted, no matter what I went through, that's more so the situation that I was getting from this cup of coffee, this type of profile. And that's the thing about it. It's the profile that's more so the issue. You would think that grinders are, agnostic. They just grind the coffee. And after they grind the coffee, they present you something lovely and great. But in truth, all grinders have a particular characteristic to it, to where it probably brings out different things for you, or is limiting in this factor. In this case, there's a lot of fines in this particular grinder, which isn't bad. If you want to sift them out, sure. But at the end of the day, you're drinking that coffee for whatever it is. And to an extent, it may actually make you not like that coffee. Because sometimes when you see things on the bag of telling you what it tastes like, you may get elements of it, but in truth, at least for me, you'll get it all at once, concentrated together in a muddy-like fashion, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So that's what you will probably experience down the road, a couple years down the road, as you keep drinking your coffee. Because what's going to end up happening is that this is probably going to be one of your first big boy, big girl grinders that you pick up. Then as you go throughout your journey, your palate starts to change. It gets more refined. You start to understand the things that you do like about particular coffees, different roast degrees, different origins, different things that you like on the after finish, things that you can kind of manipulate with different brewers and all that stuff. But then after a while, you start to kind of isolate the variables, and then you're going to get to the place of wait, something about this isn't right. Something about this doesn't seem to gel right with me just because of what I'm actually tasting in the cup. And it's the profile of the grinder. So that's really the biggest reasons why I don't recommend the Baratza Virtuoso. So what do I recommend then? Where we're going to come here and talk about to where I think this is very helpful, but how this can actually help you in your coffee journey. So, believe it or not, I didn't start with the Virtuoso. I actually started with the little brother, as they would say, or whatever you may say, the step down version. The one that's not as mature as the Virtuoso is the Baratza Encore. The reason why is because it's essentially the same. It's just in a different skin. And the price difference is significant. I believe it's about $70 to $100 less than the Virtuoso. The Virtuoso is nice. It looks nicer. The button's a lot better. But the Baratza Encore is just as on par. Same exact burrs, exact same settings. That's the grinder that I would highly recommend you start off with as an entry-level grinder. You're still going to get those exact same coffee grinder profile characteristics in the cup, but it's at a cheaper realm. And then the cool thing about it is that as you continue to drink your coffee and explore coffee and get better at coffee, and your palate starts to get refined, then you wouldn't feel too bad of going on to the next grinder for whatever that may be. If you want to go ahead and go into the whole hand grinder situation, the one I will recommend is this one. This is a K6. the K6 is a really cool grinder. The reason why is because you'll get some type of separation in the cup of coffee compared to the Baratza Encore. You'll get a little bit more fluffier grinds, and I think the actual size of the burrs are really relatively similar to each other. It's really easy. You hear that? Very tactile, understanding what you're doing. You can put 30 to 35 grams of coffee inside of here. And the cool thing about the K6 to me is that you can get the whole gamut. You can get it from espresso all the way from French press. And I think that's pretty cool. And you'll get a little bit more separation, a little bit more clarity. And then your cups will be tasting a lot drastically different. And this one's about 80, 90, I think $100 for this particular grinder at the time that I'm actually filming this actual video or audio, whatever you may be. And it works pretty good. And it's significantly cheaper. And this is a good gateway for you to get into hand grinders. So, like I said, the Baratza Virtuoso isn't a bad grinder. That price right there is kind of a little scary. But then after a while, you'll start to realize that something is missing in this cup of coffee. They're all starting to taste the same. And once you get there, you're deep into the rabbit hole. You will go deep into the rabbit hole to the point to where you are going to try to find something that gives you that type of clarity, that separation, that nuance in what you want to taste. I would recommend the K6 too, the ZP6 espresso, but that's a story for another day. We'll talk about that another day. Right now, we're just talking about decent alternatives to a $260 grinder that's extremely muddy in a cup once you start to realize. And when you realize that, don't feel bad about the situation. Don't feel bad about the actual grinder. Just know that you are on a path to understanding coffees even more so, and that your palate is changing. It's getting better. And you may be up to spending a lot of money in the future, but you don't have to do that right from the get-go with a Baratza Virtuoso. You can spend it on something else that's a little bit better in what you get in the flavor profile. So this is Oki at Everyday Beans, talking about what I don't recommend, but in its place, what I do and the reasons why. Talk to you later. Bye.